We're now joined by Sylvester Lukasiewicz, who is editor, SPL Films. Good to see you, Sylvester.
Good to see you, Steve. Hi, Mary.
By way of background, Sylvester not only has his entire operation, and you can check out his website, but he's been the editor of our Lessons in Leadership series from day one. And the theme in many ways of this segment, and one of the biggest reasons we wanted to have you on, is teamwork. It's so many cliches, Sylvester, around, oh, teamwork, we're a great team, all for one, one for all. The reality is that's who and what this team is. Talk about it.
Yes, I think going back to day one when we started working together, first of all, episode number 14 was my first one, but first one that went over Zoom remotely. And so it's a very interesting study for me. Corporate and cable communications over distance, something that is not tangible, but effective. And so the ability to produce something for almost 4 years, 3 months short of 4 years, without meeting someone, I'm talking about team lessons in leadership, it's been really something groundbreaking for me. It really is this sort of connection that you develop over time, whether in school or in a playground or in church or wherever it is you are, you carry that with you. And at one point, all these roads merge and say, hey, this is the time, this is the place where we need to create something. And then fusion. And I think that's what happened with Lessons in Leadership. And I think we've had many projects with Elvin and Scarlett. You know, we work during the day in the same place. It doesn't change. It's the same kind of connectivity and sort of checks and balances where I know that Ellen has my back and Mary has my back. And if she says, hey, Sil, can you look for this or change that or double check? I got her back as well. And so it's almost like reigniting all the time, and it's never going pale or stale or boring. So I think that's what teamwork is about. It's always going back and forth, listening to each other and observing. I mean, the fact that we were able to meet in person back in January, it was so solidifying for me, because a handshake or a drink with someone or, you know, hugging Steve, hugging Mary, it was so visceral. So, you know, the first time you meet someone for the first time, it's like a first date. And you automatically,
I never saw it that way.
We had our, you know,
I did, because we went to the High Lawn, right? We went to the High Lawn and
up to the High Lawn to our friends up there. Go ahead, Mary.
Exactly. And Sylvester was there before me, and he was standing at the bar. I don't even know if he had an alcoholic beverage or not. It looks like seltzer.
No,
maybe there's vodka in it.
He was driving.
But and then I was there, and I was like, Sylvester. Because we're the first 4 years. And the funny thing is, when people meet me, they're always like, you're taller than you look in Zoom, right? Because I am. I'm pretty tall. I'm almost 5'8". So that's usually the first thing that I get. Or I get some people don't even recognize me in person, because you look different. You carry yourself different. So, but yes, categorizing it like a first date was definitely true.
But you know what's interesting about what Mary just said and what you said, Sylvester? And again, I think about this a lot. I think about chemistry. I think about this thing, people, culture, chemistry. I don't want to play word games with this. But people will say it's virtually impossible, and I use the word virtually on purpose, it's virtually impossible in a virtual world to have chemistry and a culture and teamwork and collaboration. But Sylvester, that's not really true, because there are people who work together side by side in offices, in person, and they have absolutely terrible chemistry, and the culture is not collaborative, is not trusting, as you just said. It is not all for one, one for all. As you said, you have each other's backs. Talk about that the remote world doesn't stop us, and not just us. This isn't about us. It's about people who choose to be collaborative, respectful, and trusting. Please.
Yes, you're right. And I think the solution to that is, and I think Zoom, the whole culture of working remotely, woke a lot of people up, not just from being on camera and sitting up and, you know, making sure the background is, you know, clear or whatever. It's about listening. It's about ability to give someone something to say, and not just one way and everyone forgot about it. Something that will be picked up and carried on with whatever the project you're working on. Is it just a staff meeting or production meeting? or is it just a one-on-one conversation with your doctor? I mean, it's sort of the communication doesn't change. The chain can be broken by so many things. I mean, it could be, technical issues. It could be the timing, or it does take not maybe practice, but sort of getting used to talking to no one, right? Because I'm literally talking to on my phone right now, but I know that there's Mary, there's Steve, there's Elvin, and probably 3 or 4 other
You
people.
don't see, hold on a second. Sorry for interrupting while you're talking about listening. So, Sylvester, you don't see us right now?
I see you in the periphery of my vision because I have my camera that I'm looking at, but I can see your motions. I can see if you pick up your book or your prop, I can see it, but it's not where I'm looking into the eyes of my listener. So I think going back to leadership and sort of communication, you have to understand that your message is still continuing, even though you're not seeing the people you're speaking to.
What it takes, Mary, we had a guest earlier. We were taping a long day, and let's just say this guest had important things to say, and it was powerful, except he was challenged by the experience. I know he was challenged by the experience. And let's just say, Mary, he didn't come across in the way that I'm pretty sure he wanted to. And a lot of it's about what Sylvester's talking about.
Totally.
Practicing this. We didn't make the rules. These are the rules. Go ahead, Mary. We got a minute left with Sylvester.
Yeah, definitely. And one other thing that I want to talk about was Sylvester, and it's something that I have coached my boys who are literally, by the time this airs, they're going to be 19 and 22 years old, and they thank me for this, is literally building trust with people and actually caring about what you're doing for those people, with those people as a team. And Sylvester, just talk a little bit about that. As you said, we have about a minute left together, but talk about your level of caring. I mean, from the first time and I'm going to use air quotes, interviewed you, and I do that because we technically didn't. You came to us from Elvin. We were like, this guy's it. He's going to be great. But we could tell that
Elvin,
yes,
Badger,
Elvin, our director. But sure, we could tell that you cared, that you really, did. So talk a little bit about caring and why that's important in a relationship.
Absolutely. I think, again, like you said, when we first spoke with Steve and you on the phone, I automatically right away started picking up on things that I can be an asset, I can contribute with, or if there's something that I need to pick up and learn on because you guys have a particular format of the program or the way you have your deliverables and things like that, you quickly right away adjust to what you can do, how quickly you can do it. And that's the kind of arsenal, if you pardon the pun, it's something that you can always jump in with and say, hey, I got your back, and I care for what we're doing. And with these things, I'll be able to achieve if you miss something or something came in late or whatever the issue might be. So I think always that sort of safety net first. Murphy's Law, that everything will go wrong. So, but in the long run, it's caring. It's about the end product and that everything comes together at the end. And like Steve says, all the graphics and all the visuals, and you say B-roll photos, music, sound, all that stuff, it all comes in at the end every week, week after week, without taking a break. So that's sort of, that's how I care in the long run for 4 years now, that the show continues, the message continues, lessons in leadership don't take summer vacations. There's no summer school,
Nope.
Right? So I think that's what it is. It's really just caring about what you do, what you're hired to do, but also feel passionate about, because I do feel passionate about this.
Some folks may wonder, why are we taking a segment like this and airing it on our sister series one-on-one? Here's the reason. Because teamwork. It isn't just teamwork on our sister series, Lessons in Leadership. It's for all of you who are a part of a team. I'm not going to get on my soapbox about leadership and teamwork, but we're all on a team. You may see yourself working in a silo, or I'm in my lane. We don't have that luxury. So this collaboration is really an effort at us to say, look, there are mistakes, problems happen all the time, but when they do, this team tries to come together as quickly as possible and figure out, hey, how do we deal with it? How do we fix it? And what do we learn from it? And so to our longtime editor from day one on Lessons in Leadership, Sylvester, I want to say thank you. And also thank you to our director, once again, Elvin Badger, who brought us together, make our team better. Thanks, Sylvester. Appreciate it. He'll be editing this his own segment in just a couple of weeks. Thanks, Sylvester.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 30 years in public broadcasting. Funding has been provided by Hackensack Meridian Health, the New Jersey Education Association, Valley Bank, the Russell Berry Foundation, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, PSEG Foundation, Seton Hall University, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, and by the Turrell Fund, a foundation serving children. Promotional support provided by bestofnj.com and by NJ Biz.
Life is full of changes. At Hackensack Meridian Medical Group, we're ready for them. If you have a cold or chronic illness, our 5-star doctors can treat any ailment. Whether you're starting recess or retirement, we're prepared with pediatric and adult specialists. And if you just moved here, we are in your neighborhood. You now have access to a health team 1,000 strong. So no matter what or when, we're ready.